In 1982, construction workers in Lower Manhattan made an unexpected discovery. While excavating the ground near the World Trade Center, they found pieces of wood buried deep beneath the streets of New York City. But these weren't the remains of an old building. They belonged to a ship. An 18th-century wooden vessel had been buried beneath Manhattan for nearly 200 years. The discovery happened during construction at 175 Water Street, several blocks from the World Trade Center site. Workers were digging roughly 20 feet below street level when they uncovered the remains. Archaeologists were called in, and they quickly realized that part of an old ship had survived underground. But how does a ship end up buried beneath one of the most densely built parts of New York? The answer is connected to the way Manhattan itself grew. Today, when we look at Lower Manhattan, it's easy to assume that its shoreline has always looked the same. It hasn't. During the 18th and 19th centuries, New York expanded parts of the island by pushing the shoreline farther into the East River. Workers created new land using soil, debris, garbage, and other materials. Old structures and even abandoned ships could become part of that landfill. The ship discovered in 1982 appears to have met a similar fate. Instead of being completely dismantled, part of the vessel was left behind and eventually covered as the shoreline expanded around it. Buildings and streets were later constructed above the site. For generations, thousands of New Yorkers walked over the remains without knowing what was underneath their feet. Archaeologists had very little time to investigate because construction was continuing. They carefully documented the vessel and recovered sections of its wooden structure. Later research provided more information about the ship. Tree ring analysis indicated that some of its timbers came from trees cut in the Philadelphia area around the early 1770s. Researchers believe the vessel was probably a small merchant ship known as a sloop. Ships like this were commonly used to transport cargo along the Atlantic coast and through nearby waterways. Scientists also found evidence of small marine organisms in the wood, helping researchers understand where the vessel may have traveled. But the ship's original name and the exact story of its final voyage remain unknown. What we do know is that it eventually became part of Manhattan itself. And this isn't the only ship discovered beneath New York. Because the city's shoreline was expanded over time, archaeologists have found other vessels and maritime remains beneath Lower Manhattan. In 2010, another 18th-century ship was discovered during excavation at the World Trade Center site. That vessel was found beneath the area where a new building was being constructed. Together, discoveries like these reveal something surprising about New York. Parts of the city were literally built over its maritime past. Today, skyscrapers stand where ships once sailed. Streets cross areas that were once underwater. And beneath some of those streets, pieces of old New York can still survive. The ship found in 1982 wasn't carrying a mysterious treasure. It wasn't a legendary lost vessel, but its story reveals something just as interesting. Manhattan hasn't simply changed above ground. The island itself was reshaped. And an ordinary wooden ship ended up becoming part of the land beneath one of the most famous cities in the world. If you enjoy archaeological discoveries and true stories hidden beneath modern cities, subscribe to the channel and tell me in the comments, what else do you think could still be buried beneath New York?